Vampires can't exist. The Halloween special past Halloween. And I haven't made a decent video in a long time, and it's Friday, so I decided to do this. Viruses. There are several ways that vampirism can exist, but viruses are the most common. Well, viruses can insert DNA and have their DNA connect with a cell DNA, but it can't reformat the cell completely. I guess it can possess it, but it will kill the cell. That's a problem. It can't do what vampires do. And also a problem with viruses, they're only protein and DNA, so they can't communicate. With bacteria, they're more complex than viruses, so they can try. But what happens is, the only way it can do things is by eating the cell and then reproducing to create a bacteria, and you can't do it without more than one type of species. So vampirism doesn't work with bacteria. It just doesn't work. It can't. And that fungus and parasites won't work because they can't reformat cells, just like previously said. They can only poke it and do random crap and do nothing. It can't reformat cells. The constraint so far, it must be symbiotic rather than parasitic. Must be able to reformat DNA, RNA, and or proteins. I missed RNA there. It must be able to communicate. This is why the previous biological pathogens are unacceptable as a vampire disease, like RNA. But who said it had to be biological? That's the thing. It could be technology or something. Nanotechnology, futuristic in science fiction. If you using RNA interference, scientists can already manipulate protein synthesis with silencers. Well, this drawing is definitely not to scale, but there's a ribosome, and this interferer, I call it, can interfere with the protein synthesis and screw it up and make sure it doesn't happen. And with this way, you can manipulate protein synthesis, which is a powerful thing. And this can remember, the manipulated cell can enter other organisms and divide and reproduce and all that, causing tier 2 vampirism. And the nanobots can just find stuff floating around and absorb it and create more interferers and RNA and stuff, proteins. That's always useful. Next, bio-nanotechnology. Say there's a window, you could see inside it, and there's cells and stuff, and it's all wonderful. Well, there's no actual window, but synthesis of proteins produced in the main cell, the interferers, muscle cells move the thing, and because cells can reproduce, there's a never-ending supply, and they get energy themselves, so that you don't have to, they won't run out of energy, which is a good thing. That's a shell. It won't break. It's good. And new cells, when the old cells die, new cells can go take their place. Same thing. But the only problem with these are they aren't living, and if they keep infecting people, then eventually the supply will run out. That's the problem. And by the way, it affects the brain too, but I don't know enough about psychology and neuroscience to do a section on that part. So, vampires don't exist. And this is one huge eyeball, by the way, which is kind of disturbing. But cyclopes exist. Darn it. That black square isn't supposed to exist, and this concludes the 2012 Halloween Evrants special. Hope you enjoyed. Please leave feedback, because this is probably terrible, and there's only one thing that can make this episode that much better. Dark, soulless eyes.